All right, it's connected.
No, you're not. Or I am as well.
I said it is connected, as in we are now live streaming.
Apologies. I thought you were
Yes,
asking.
we are.
Yeah. No, statement, not a question.
Brian doesn't seem to be here, so
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Could
Yeah.
you not hear me just a minute ago?
Oh, maybe
I
not.
might have muted. Shit. Sorry about that. So yeah, we are live, and let's just start with a roundup of the team. Brian, if you can start.
Sure. I've been working on a rewrite of Jitsi that's Java-based, and I'm pretty close to being done with that. So we've been doing some testing with it on beta, and so far it seemed pretty good. So there's some stuff we're working on with regards to the deployment and a few last kind of punch list items, but hopefully that's something that's going to be released pretty soon.
Nice. I'm looking forward to this. Yubo, are you there?
Yes. So we're reviewing multiple PRs from Zoli. So that's gonna bring us a redesigned welcome page with a settings view, settings screen, also calendar integration, Android and iOS. And we're also ready with picture-in-picture. So we hope to have that running in our apps soon. We'll be working on that now. And let's see. If Pavel is here, Pavel, you can continue with the mobile side.
Yes, so I was working mostly on some refactoring in Torture to make it possible for the mobile tests be done like together with the browser, where one participant is mobile, the other one is browser. Yeah, there was a PR match which has a basic mobile test where it just joins the conference and leaves it, but now I'm working on a test where it will also check like if the eyes has connected and then if the media is streaming, and then we will be trying to include mobile in PR test. That will be our goal, and I'm still working on that. And that's it from me.
Thank you, Bove.
Who else? Aaron?
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of updates for our infrastructure for this week for the public. I have been working a little with Brian to test out Jitsi, and we'll be trying to turn that into some packages for publishing at some point, but no real schedule on that just yet. I think that's basically it for me.
Dimension?
I've been mostly working on the tests. So currently the builds and the PRs are including Firefox, behaving well for now, and monitoring them, and I'm continuing with that, adding more browsers.
Christo?
So lately I spent some time working on the tests as well, at implementing the desktop sharing test. So there's a PR, and you have to fix some comments there, and probably some going to merge. Other than that, I was working on this issue where we're loading or redirecting the page from Jitsi, like for example the welcome page when you can get, or when we are doing the rollout because of some error. So it appears that in these cases we are not preserving the original URL, which leads to losing some of the config parameters passed through the URL. So I'm pretty close to creating PR about this. And probably soon there's going to be something merged. Other than that, I had a PR about the desktop sharing frame rate. So there is a config option. So the PR is merged already. So there's config option for the config.js where you can configure the minimum and maximum frame rate, which are going to be passed as constraints to get user media. Also, we are going to default to 5 frames per second, and before the value was 3 frames per second. And I think that's all.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that we can play around with the FPS for screen sharing now. And I think the last one left is George.
Yeah, I don't have much updates to share. Mostly working on evaluating congestion control, our congestion control implementation different ways. We have been gathering some data from the bridge on beta, and we have some simple analysis of that data, but nothing for public consumption. Nothing that I can share with you right now, guys. I'm going to be working on something more tangible, some tests in Torture that will evaluate different in different scenarios how we perform, how the bridge performs compared to Chrome in the congestion control. In its congestion control performance, and that's about it.
And myself, I've been working on the Moody bridge support, and I have some progress there. I don't want to promise anything right now, but I'm hoping to talk about this in the near future. And with that, we can go ahead and move to the open questions. I know Gus had one.
Yep. As I've told before, I'm working on a plugin for OpenFire that basically wraps Jitsi and the bridge. That is working pretty well. And we're now moving to the next step in what we want to do, and that is include a browser component in our client that makes use of the audio-video capabilities that your network has with the OpenFire plugins. What I was looking into is if your network doesn't have the audio-video capability, it would be nice to use a fallback server. So the obvious candidate is this server, the Jitsi server. How do you guys feel about me coding in this address as a default fallback for a functionality like that?
I expect that Emi would have an opinion on this, but he's not.
So help me understand. The use case is you need some kind of a way to bridge a connection if you're not able to make a direct connection, or?
No, basically the use case is if you connect to your chat network and you don't have a local bridge and corresponding components, what we do from our client is simply open a browser, right? It's in the client software itself, but it's simply an embedded browser. So instead of opening the URL on your local network, we could, as a fallback, if that's not available to you, we could open this URL to this.
I don't like that at all. I think that would immediately confuse people. It would mean that people who set up their stuff wrong would immediately be complaining that our stuff wasn't working right. And they wouldn't even necessarily know unless they're intelligent and sort of understand about how this stuff is supposed to work, that they did theirs wrong because it's just opening a website with Meet Jitsi instead. I feel like it's mixing behaviors, and I think what you would want there instead is some kind of warning, like the resources you're trying to access don't have this, with maybe some option like you might want to try browsing to Meet Jitsi or something else like that as an alternative. But I don't think it should just do it by default. That's sort of my take on it.
Yeah, that's from a functionality perspective. I think we can. I don't think that the end user would even notice the difference, maybe in performance.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm worried about, is that the end user wouldn't notice the difference, but they're all of a sudden using a different resource than they think they've provisioned something, and instead they're using our publicly provisioned resources instead. And I feel like that's not really ideal. Like if they're using Meet Jitsi, we want them to know they're using Meet Jitsi and choose to use Meet Jitsi, not just accidentally fail back to it using a client that they thought was using their own private resources. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah. Okay. And I understand that. I understand what you're saying. Would you?
Well, especially, let's say you're running your own server for this. Maybe we'd want it to fall back to that domain instead of Meet Jitsi, that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I could see you having a fallback domain that you enter into the client, but I don't think it should just automatically default to Meet Jitsi.
I definitely make it a configurable default, but not all of our networks will have the Jitsi components which is a optional component server side. So I still would like to be able to give users of such networks the ability to use video conferencing through a different server.
So I think, yeah, you'll have to talk to Emil about that one because it's kind of outside the scope. But my take is it should not ever default to falling back to that. It should offer that maybe if you wanted to set this up, you could, but I don't think we're ever just going to want it be you click and then you don't know what's happening and then you're accidentally using Meet Jitsi resources. Part of that is there's no amount of measurability on the Meet Jitsi side to necessarily show that these are users that are coming in from a different place or anything like that. I think we do want to do a lot around analytics and sort of how are we sourcing these users and a whole bunch of other things. So I wouldn't want it to just accidentally be the default.
Okay, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Cool. It's a neat idea for a feature, though. I like the idea.
Oh, we're playing with a demo. It's really nice. It's working pretty nicely.
Cool.
Any more questions? Anyone? Then just the usual mention of GSOC. We're already seeing introductions from students on our page, on our mailing lists, and I intend to follow up on them. And that's about it. In the coming weeks, we should expect the official application process to begin. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording and we can end this call. Thank you everyone for coming.